Hi, my name is Spencer, and today I'm going to be discussing artery and vein C&P exams with you. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over the relevant regulation for two common artery and vein conditions. That's varicose veins and peripheral artery disease. So I'll go over the regulations for varicose veins and peripheral artery disease, and then I'll move over to the DBQ. The DBQ is short for Disability Benefits Questionnaire. That is the form the VA examiner is going to be completing at your C&P exam. This will just give you, between the regulation and the DBQ, it'll give you a good idea of how the VA is going to rate or evaluate your artery and venous conditions. So the relevant regulation is 38 CFR section 4.104, the schedule of ratings for cardiovascular system. And now, so the two conditions we're going to be going over is varicose veins and peripheral arterial disease. Varicose veins, the diagnostic code is going to be 7120. So what you're going to do is go to 7120 and the rating schedule here, and you'll see it'll direct you to 7121. So varicose veins will be evaluated under 7121. And here you'll see that basically there's just some symptoms listed off, whether it be edema, whether it be aching pain or fatigue, whether it be a pigmentation change, whether it be dry, patchy, scaly skin like eczema. All those things are going to be documented there, and that's how you're going to be evaluated for varicose veins. So you can see here too, obviously some of those symptoms might change. For example, one day your skin might be looking fine, the next day it might be dry or patchy. This is why it'd be important to report each symptom you have for your varicose veins at the C&P exam to the VA examiner. Conversely, we'll look at the peripheral arterial disease. So peripheral arterial disease is 7114. So if you go to that, the difference with this one is you'll see it'll be based on certain measurements. These are objective measurements that doesn't really matter what you tell the VA examiner. Your rating is going to be determined based on these objective testing versus the subjective symptoms you have. I reviewed the rating schedule for both varicose veins and peripheral arterial disease. At the varicose veins one we saw, the veteran should be aware that he should report any symptoms he may have to the VA examiner, whether that be pigmentation changes, dry, scaly skin, edema, it's like swelling, these kind of things. These are important to report all your symptoms to your VA examiner at that C&P exam. Whereas peripheral arterial disease, there's not many tips or tricks. There's nothing really the veteran should report to the C&P examiner, because it's going to be based on objective testing. So that's the difference between the two. I also just have another side note here. One unique consideration or interesting fact, for example, for varicose veins and peripheral arterial disease, is that the bilateral factor will apply. So for example, if a veteran has varicose veins in both his left and his right leg, the bilateral factor will apply. There'll be another video or blog post discussing how VA math works, but it's just to know that there is a benefit to having both, for example, lower extremities or upper extremities with a service-connected condition. So for example, varicose veins, the rating schedule says the bilateral factor does apply so long as the both lower extremities or both upper extremities are service connected. What I mean by this is if the veteran has varicose veins in his left arm and his left leg, there will be no bilateral factor. But if he has varicose veins in his left and his right leg, there will be a bilateral factor that will apply. So that's everything I have for the regulations for both varicose veins and peripheral arterial disease. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through a DBQ with you. As I said earlier in the video, it's a Disability Benefits Questionnaire. This is the form the VA examiner will be completing. Page 1, again, there's not that much here to state. Page 1 of this form, the VA examiner is going to simply state your records were reviewed. There's not too much there to discuss. So we're going to go to page 2. So now page 2, you'll see the bottom of page 2 will be section 3, varicose veins. So here the varicose veins, what the examiner checks here will directly correspond to the rating schedule. And as I previously said, the varicose veins in the rating schedule are 7120, what instructs you to go to 7121 for the evaluation. And you'll see that both under diagnostic code 7121 and on page 3 of this DBQ here, the symptoms will correspond. So for example, if the VA examiner wrote that there is persistent edema or there is eczema, those will translate to a rating in the diagnostic code 7121. For example, the 20% evaluation, the VA examiner would have marked symptoms such as persistent edema, incompletely relieved by elevation of the extremity. So that's the swelling does not go down even when you lift up your arm or leg. and with or without the stasis pigmentation or eczema. So those symptoms themselves aren't necessary for the 20% evaluation, but they will be necessary for higher evaluations. I'm going to move down just to page 7 of this DB Cube, as we already discussed peripheral arterial disease, so I just want to show you how that would be rated as well. And right here, this is what's going to be here is the top of page 7, the diagnostic testing. That'll be the right ankle pressure, the left ankle pressure, the right toe pressure, the left toe pressure. These findings here are objective. That's why I said earlier there's not much I can instruct you. There's no real tips for if you do have peripheral arterial disease, because the objective testing that's documented right here on page 7 will correspond to your rating under diagnostic code 7114. So we'll see here the objective testing results on page 7 of the DBQ correspond to the objective testing results under diagnostic code 7114. Again, that's why there's no real tips or tricks here. It's just to understand how this worked. I gave you 2 different examples. One, symptoms where a veteran would be competent to report them, and in the other case, it's just objective testing. There's nothing for the veteran to specifically learn or remember for his C&P exam. Alright, so that's the end of my video today. If you look below the video, you'll find web links to the regulations, and you'll also find a link to the relevant DBQ. Also below the video, you can post any comments if you have any questions. That's everything I have for you today. Thanks. Bye.